to one and all present. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Today we are all gathered here for an interactive session with Ms. Sharmada Balu. She started her journey at the age of 9 and taking her first flight to Indonesia at the age of 12. She is said to have partnered with Sania Mirza for the 2012 Olympics London. By 2016, Ms. Sharmada Balu had already won 2 singles titles and 15 doubles titles on the ITF Women's Tennis Tour. And in 2021, she had many good runs in singles and won a doubles title at ITF W15, monastir with her friend Shravya Shivani Chilakalapudi. We are highly privileged and thankful towards Ms. Sharmada Balu to take us through her journey of success. We are truly privileged to have her with us today, and a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We are all waiting to hear from you. I would also like to welcome Balu sir and our pillar of support and his entire team for this session. A very warm welcome to you, to all the faculties and students of TSS. Now, I would request Gagan sir to kindly take over.
Hi, Sharmada. So would you like to say something before I could ask you my question to you?
Yeah, I just want to say good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, ma'am, for the lovely introduction. Can we see you all on video, please, just so that it's more fun that way? And then Gagan sir can start.
Okay, perfect. So my question to you is, so before tennis, were you playing any other sport? And one more question would be, what made you choose tennis? Like, did something or a situation or did someone inspire you to take it up professionally in your life?
Okay, so I started playing tennis at the age of 7, but prior to that, I used to be into gymnastics. There used to be a small club near my house, which had an athletic ground and a gymnastics center, and also tennis and table tennis. So I was, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear, but there's some sort of a disturbance.
Right.
Yeah, I think someone needs to mute. Yeah. So so I started doing gymnastics when I was 4 years old. I did it for about a good 2.5 years. And then my dad realized that there's not as much potential in gymnastics back then, and it was also not so safe. So he thought that it's better if I moved on to another sport. And there was a tennis court in the same club next door. So he just put me there, and that's basically how I started playing tennis. And I was enjoying it, and I turned out to be pretty decent at it. So I think I just stuck with it, and the rest is history.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. I'm sure many players can connect to how they also started the sport. Thank you for that. Tarini, you want to take over? Your question.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Gagan. So Sharmada, I had a question. We have a lot of junior athletes here, and the kids are here, inspired by you always. Just wanted to know, when you were a junior player, what was your schedule like, your intensity, the hours that you played? What was the difference from then and now? Because you did take a break and you're back into your training. So could you please give an insight into that for the kids?
So when I was 9, I moved to this academy called the Tennis Village that was in Kodigehalli near Sakanagar, and it was one of the biggest academies back then in Bangalore. And it was a whole day affair. Like I used to play 2 sessions of tennis. I used to play in the morning from about 6 to 8, and then I used to go to school, and I used to get off school at like 2 o'clock or 1:32, and then come back and play again, and then do some fitness. So I did this from the age of 9 till about 12. And when I was 12 years old, I got into this program called the Apollo Tiles. And when I got into that program, I basically stopped going to school because it required us to train, the whole day, and there was zero time to study, and it was quite hectic. So the day on an average used to go about we used to wake up at sometimes 5, if not earlier, or if you're lucky, maybe 6. And our fitness used to start around 6:37, and we used to have the first session of fitness, then a little bit of break to eat breakfast, and then we used to play one session of tennis for about 2.5 hours, and then we had another cool down session after that, and we used to then have a break for lunch, a little bit of time to rest, and then back on court again at 1:15, and we used to have another session for 2.5 hours, and then we had a proper full-time, like a full fitness session, and then followed by swimming. So swimming was something that I did quite a bit of when I was younger. I did not really like it, but I had to do it. And sometimes we used to do swimming in the morning. I remember it used to be really, really cold, and we didn't have a choice, and we had to get up early, and 5 o'clock we were hitting the pool. And basically it kind of went around like that, and there was zero free time to do anything during that except for training and stuff like that. And we used to be done by around 5:36, and it was time to eat and sleep. So that was basically my schedule back then. And now, as you all see me in the courts every day, it starts somewhere around, the morning fitness session at 8:15. But I come early, I do my rehab and stuff. So I'm there a lot earlier than the actual fitness session. Followed by tennis. I try to complete the whole session in the morning, and then I have a break for lunch, and then I do my fitness, and then I coach in the evening, and then I'm done for the day. So it's a lot less hours of tennis right now, also because I'm a lot older than what I used to be back then. So I think that is the main difference. And also the mindset back then versus now also makes a huge difference. So I would say that, yeah, that's basically how my schedule went then and how it is now.
Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to Vignesh.
Hi, Sharmada. This is my question for you. So we know you have quit professional tennis for a while, and now you have made a comeback. Why did you quit, and what made you come back and play again?
So when I turned pro when I was 17, I was still playing juniors, and I did not have the greatest results in juniors up until when I was probably 16 or 17. So once I started doing well there, I decided that it was best to transition into pro. And I started pretty solid, my transition into pro tennis. So like the expectation suddenly was extremely high, even though there was none from my side. But the moment you start something new and you become really good at it, everyone expects you to stay there and maintain there, right? So so the start was solid, and then slowly I became stagnant and I was not picking up. And then the injuries started coming at like the really worst timing. So that kind of played on my mind a bit. And it's also really expensive to travel and play continuously. And so so I would say that somewhere around 2014-ish, I started getting injured quite a bit. I was doing a lot of rehab, doing everything what I thought was right, whatever was told to me, without missing a day. And even then, I was still getting injured, and I used to train like 2-3 months in a row, give it my all, and then just like 2-3 weeks before the tournament, it used to start hurting again. So that kind of started affecting me quite a bit. And also, I did not have sponsors to travel, and it became a little difficult financially. And all of this combined together just kind of, took a toll on me, and I felt like I needed a break. It was not more like I never thought that I'm done with tennis, even though I think I felt that way. I always felt like I'm going to come back to it at some point, but just right now I need to stay away from it and just figure things out for myself. And yeah, so basically that's how I ended up stopping tennis, because I was not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. So there were more bad days than good, and that took a toll. So that I stopped in 2016, My last tournament was in December and I ended up winning that. And after that, I couldn't hold my racket. So it was kind of bittersweet. And I tried, even though I stopped, I tried for a good year and a half to fix my injuries and to play, but it just got a bit much. And so then I started doing a bunch of other things that was not related to tennis at all. And that was quite insightful. Like, I'm in a way glad that I did that, because it taught me skills that tennis couldn't teach me, just like how, in other places, there are skills that only a sport can teach you. So it was vice versa. And yeah, so I started working for this company called, this American company called Target. And I was there for about nearly 2 years. And somewhere, I think in the middle of 2020, just when COVID hit, I started having a lot of free time on my mind to just kind of process and figure out the consequences of my actions that I took when I decided to stop and things like that, and just clicked. And I just felt like this was the time to come back and play again. And this time it was more like, when you play, everyone is telling you that you're good, you can do this, and they're always motivating you and they believe in you. And you hear this from everybody else, but on some level, you yourself don't really believe it. So I feel like that's how I was playing back then. Like, everyone used to tell me that, Sharmada, you're good, you can do this, and all of these things. But I don't think that I truly believe that. But sitting on my bed 2 years back, and when I decided to take the call, I think that was the first time I felt myself that, hey, I'm good, I want to do this. I think I still have some more left in me. Even though people around me were not telling me anymore, it did not matter, because it was like, just you believing in yourself is more than enough. And I think when that came, there was no looking back. That was all I needed. So that's why I decided to start playing again.
But thank you. Thank you so much, Sharmada. Sujit, can you take over from here?
Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you for the principal for putting all this together. And hi, Balu. That's a lot of questions coming your way. And I also have a couple of questions. My first up, we would like to know what are your goals going forward, and what are goals for the next couple of years. Could you just share a few that you want to achieve in the next couple of years?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, last year was kind of more like dipping my toes back into tennis and seeing where I stand and how the competition is looking and how much more do I need to work harder to get there and stuff. And I think this year is a little more result oriented, and obviously I want to do a lot better. And I think that firstly, I'm happy that I have my doubles ranking back. Singles has been a bit slow, but I think I'll get there. So in terms of doubles goals for this year, I think that I want to crack back into the top 300, which was what my highest ranking back then when I played. And I think that's a pretty good and realistic goal for this year. In terms of singles, the first priority would be to get my WTA rank and then just build it from there and just keep going. But I'm focusing a lot more on doubles this time. But I think my long-term dream goal, so to speak, would be the 2024 Olympics. I really want to make it this time. And I think that I'm, giving it my all and have a good strategy to get there this time. So that would be like my main goal.
That's amazing to hear. My next question would be, you have had quite a lot of success, I would say, and some of the nominations was winning the gold medal at the SAF Games. Rather have a very similar. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay, I'll repeat that question for you again. You have had a lot of success and quite a few achievements in the past, and one of the major achievements was winning the gold at the SAF Games. And a lot of kids who are listening to you right now their goal probably would be winning gold or coming, or were you ready for us? Go back in that tournament and talk about how you achieved that goal.
Okay. Kind of lost you in the second part, but you're asking me to explain how I achieved my goal of winning the gold medal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, that's probably one of the highlights of my career, and it's extra special to me because it was not just winning the gold medal, but under which circumstances I won the gold medal. So prior to this, I was injured on and off quite a bit, and I'd hurt my ankles. I had tendonitis in my knees. I had pain in my wrists, and I was not competing as much. And I just started training, and I got about 2.5 weeks of good training, and then I ended up twisting my ankle 2 weeks before South Asian Games. And I went and I played this warm-up tournament in Juhu just before South Asian Games, and the ankle was not too bad. I had taped it quite a lot, and I was playing, and I made the semifinals of that. And during the semifinals, my ankle just kind of gave up, and it was really, really bad. So I had to concede the match, and I went to Guwahati to play South Asian Games. And I was in a lot of pain, and I did not play tennis for 4 days before I played a match. So I was literally in Guwahati watching my peers and teammates play, and I was probably stepping on court for 5-10 minutes, and I was just playing, and I decided to play only doubles because I could not play singles. And so when we started the thing, the whole tournament, I was on painkillers because it was quite bad. The ankle was quite bad, and I partnered with Prafna, and we have a really good chemistry on court, and we know each other's game really well, and we think really well. So that was really nice because she knew what I could do and what I could not do, and she was kind of helping me out there. So, and each match I played was tough, and it was taking a lot more toll on my legs, and it was really challenging physically and mentally to play with that pain. And this is probably one of the biggest tournaments that I'm playing so far. So like, obviously I did not want to just throw in the towel and say, I can't play this anymore. I wanted to do everything I could because I knew that we had a really good shot at winning the medal. So basically, I just pushed through, and we reached the finals. And on the day of the finals, my ankle was like this big, like it was swollen. And I did not want to retire the match or throw it because we were playing 2 other Indians for the medal. And, coming so close to the gold medal, you really don't want to lose it without even trying. So, I went on court with heavily taped ankle. I was on painkillers, and we played the first set, and we won. And the second set, like my whole leg was like a rock, and I could not even like walk. So I was literally standing and playing, and we lost the second set. And the third set was a super tie break, like how most doubles are these days. And so we just took a washroom break, and I just had a chat with my partner, and I'm like, it's only 10 points. Like, you need to figure a way out. It's just 10 points. You're so close. And this is where like I was really tested mentally. Like I'd never felt that much pain in my legs while playing a match. Like I've been injured before, but it was off court. And here I had to like break my mental barrier, what I thought that I could bear. Like I had to go past that and find a way to win, which is exactly what I did. Like it was just those 10 points was all I was focused on, and nothing else mattered. And we ended up pulling that match out. And after the match, I could not even stand up. I was like in tears. And even on the podium when we had to stand for the medal, I remember like I was leaning on my doubles partner Pratna, and I was literally in tears because like, not because we won, but because I was in pain. So I think that, that was extremely special to me because it was under extremely difficult circumstances, and it taught me that, we can really push and do a lot more than what we think we can. Sometimes, yes, you need to be wise about it and not just, go all out every single time. But even when we are training and we need to push ourselves and we think we cannot, it's all leading up to this moment. Like even on court, when you really don't want to do that extra set because you're tired, or like you have something that's stopping you, that's when you really need to push, because once you do that is when it translates onto circumstances like this, which will help you feel like it's going to help. You can do a lot more than what you think you can. That's basically what I realized when I played that match. And I think along with the medal, that was like an extremely important lesson I learned, which I kind of use it on later on in life as well.
That's quite an inspiring story, I must say. Okay, to my last question now. You have traveled the world, you have trained in many academies, you have met a lot of coaches. Could you tell the youngsters over here what is unique and special about the Rohan Bopanna Tennis Academy, which is at the sports school? Could you, and how we have helped you come back, and you've won an ITF title also recently. So could you talk a little bit more about how has RBTA played a role in your success of late?
So I think that firstly, RBTA will be extremely special to me and each and every one of you here in the academy, because this is the first place that I came to when I decided to play tennis again. So it definitely holds a special place in my heart. And also, this is the first place that I started coaching, meeting all you young kids and helping you guys out. And I love my interactions with you guys. And it's, it's really like refreshing and I really enjoy it. And the main thing that I wanted to tell is when we go back to the time when I was telling you that back in my days, I didn't have time to go to school and I didn't have, because there was no time and it was a full-time thing and the schools were not giving me as much permission early on. I think that you guys are extremely lucky that you have everything in one place, which is basically what the sports school stands for, right? So I think that, you really just need to walk in one campus and you find everything, which was not available back then. I had to run from my house to the tennis court, play, come back, and I had to take bath. My mother had my breakfast ready and my dad had to drop me to school and, again, pick me up from school, drop me to tennis. It was really chaotic. And it really took a village back then to get this one kid to play tennis. And right now, I feel like you guys are extremely lucky because you can do all of this on your own in one place. And that does not happen as often as you think it does. So I think that's one thing that you guys really need to make the most of. And secondly, of course, the quality of players and the coaches, and they're always there for you. Like you can just ask them any question and they're always there to help you. And, I think that we just need to make the most of what is there for us. Because like I said, this is not available everywhere else. Like even when I was training in Germany as well, yes, they have a good center. They have good trainers and all of these things, but there is no school for you to go along with it. It's either one or the other. It doesn't happen together. And you guys have an opportunity here where you can pursue both together and do good in both of them. You don't have to pick. You can be good at both. So I think that that's how the sports school is different from everything else. And of course, Rohan is always great. I don't think you'll ever find someone who has reached that height in this sport be so easily and readily available to talk to you as often as he does. So, I mean, that just says a lot right there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would now open this up for the kids to ask any questions to Sharmada.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So my question to you is, what has been your best and worst moment on a tennis court?
My best and worst moment on court?
On a tennis court.
That's interesting. I think, actually, yeah, my best moment on court, I would say, was when I was probably 10 years old or 11 years old. And it was in Bangalore in KSLTA Center Court. And I was playing this girl who was seeded 2 in the tournament. It was an under 18 tournament. And I was losing. Like, she was playing really good and she was like kicking my ass. And it was like, it was a match, one-sided match. And her parents were sitting next to my parents, and we were new to the circuit, and we were just playing, and they were having a discussion and stuff. And it was 6-love, 5-2, 40-15. My opponent was leading, and I saw her parents get up. Like, they got up from the stadium, from their chairs, even before the match point finished. And that kind of triggered something in me. And I was like, I'm gonna make you sit again. So then I won the match from there. I won 7-5, 6-1. And it was, I think that's like one of my most vivid memories of, turning a match around. And like, just by that one small action it was like probably something that, didn't even come to their mind, but just that one small action kind of taught me so much right there in that moment. And I was still a young kid. So I think that that one particular moment kind of is imprinted in my head, and it keeps reminding me that if you could do it then, you can still do it now. So I think that that's one of my, I wouldn't say happiest, but like a good, happy, vivid memory on court. And one of my saddest one would also probably be something similar, where I was having a really, really bad day on court, and I was doing everything that I could, but somehow it was not coming together. I mean, we all have those days where nothing you do is, ever good enough to win that particular match on that day. And yeah, I was just, nothing was working, and I tried everything that I could, and I knew that that's literally all you can do, right? All you can do is try to give your best on court every single time. And if that's enough, you'll win. If not, you don't. And there was this one particular match where this was under 16 finals, under 16 nationals, sorry. And I was seeded, and the first round I had the odds were for me, and I didn't pull through the match, and it was quite a bad loss. And I didn't know how to handle that at that moment, because everyone expected me to win, and they come up to you after the match and they're like, oh no, what happened, and stuff like that. So I think this was the first time where I truly experienced a bad loss. And yeah, so I would say that was probably one of the bad days on court.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Anyone else has any questions?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Candy.
Ma'am, how do you deal when you have injuries?
How do you deal when you have injuries? Okay. So first of all, the injuries are painful, right? Physically as well, but they're also painful mentally, because sometimes it gets fixed very fast, and sometimes it takes really, really long time to heal and to get better. And sometimes it gets better and then it gets worse again. So you never know how it's going to go. So firstly, what you need to do is, I feel that you need to realize that whatever is in your control, you need to do everything you can to make it better. So whatever your coaches tell you, or your trainers tell you, or your therapists tell you that, you need to do this 10 times a day, 3 times, 3 sets, and not miss one single rep even. So I'll give you an example. So even just last year when I started playing, I've not played for a really long time. So when I was in Delhi and I played like 3 long, difficult matches, and my hip flexors got really tight and I struggled to walk. So I did the same exercise for 9 weeks in a row. 9 weeks in a row, during the lockdown as well. Same exercise 10 into 3 times a day. And it's very tedious, it's very repetitive, and it's very boring. But these are the small things that you have to do no matter what. Because if you don't stick to your basics, it's going to be very hard to get better at it. So I would say that you just need to know that you can only control what's in your control. You can't worry about the other factors. So if you just put your head down and do what you're supposed to do, and just have a little bit of faith that it's going to get better, and not look at the negative side, and just try to focus on the positives and keep building at it. And you have to be extremely patient. So I think the key is patience and resilience. So just keep at it, and you'll cross that bridge.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Go on.
Ma'am, it's Ishan, ma'am.
Yeah, Ishan, go ahead.
Ma'am, did you ever have like a really bad losing streak, ma'am?
Oh yeah, I think we all have that, right? Like tennis is a sport, especially where you lose a lot more than you win in general. So I mean, you're going to have a lot of bad losses, and then you're just going to have 1-2 matches that you just pick up from there and boost your confidence. So when I was, like I mentioned earlier, I was not doing so well in juniors. Like I was always in the top 5 bracket, but I never won any tournament. I didn't win a tournament for 3 years for various reasons. But it kind of took a toll on me, on my confidence and my belief as well. So I would make quarters, maybe semis at the max. But I never seemed to win any of the junior tournaments. And I was like, I used to think as well, like, am I really good enough? Like, why am I not winning? What's going wrong? I'm doing everything right. All these thoughts that, more often than not, they do enter our minds, right? And just like when I was, I would say, yeah, from 12 to 15, from when I was 12 years old to 15 years old, I didn't win a single tournament. So that's a good 3 years of losing streak. And then when I was 15 and a half, I played the under 16 nationals, and just suddenly I stuck to the same thing. I just kept doing what I'm supposed to do, just kept believing in myself, even though it was not really, it was very hard to do so. And it just, things fell into place, and I ended up winning the nationals. So from going 3 years of not winning to directly to winning nationals. So you just need to be persistent. You just have to stick through the losses, learn from them, because I think that the losses teach you a lot more than the wins. So you're always learning something. So the more you pick up from it, the better you're going to get.
Ma'am, like after you came back from injuries, like first, like how long did you play tennis? How did you start slowly after coming back from injury?
So I've done this multiple times now, because I've gotten injured quite often, and then I have to start again from scratch, and it's extremely draining. You have to be very patient, and I do have this over eagerness to get into it right away, which is I mean, I wouldn't say it's a mistake. It's what all of us do. We love being on court, we love playing tennis, but sometimes we need to understand that even though we feel like we're ready, the body might not be. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I have learned is you need to pace yourself slowly, or you're going to crash harder. So I started, especially now, I started pretty slowly. I was not, moving as much. My muscles were not used to these movements because I've not done anything for 4 years. So I think I have to thank Balu sir and the coaches here that, kept me in check and, made sure that I didn't go overboard suddenly. You just need to listen to your body. You need to, have a conversation with the coaches. more than anything, you know how much your body can take, especially when you're coming back from an injury. And sometimes we're also very scared, like, maybe we can do more, but we're very scared that, oh, what if I do that? It still happens to me even to this day. I think it's a balance of both. You're obviously extremely afraid to push more than you should and also not do enough. So this is kind of like a gray area, but you are the only one that is going to figure out how much of it is enough. So I think you just need to be a little intuitive in terms of listening to your body and just take it one day at a time, and come up with some sort of a routine that keeps you going, and you're going to be fine.
Hi,
Uh,
ma'am.
Hi, could you just hold on that question for a minute? I think Balu sir would like to ask a question.
Yeah. Hi, Sharmada, and good evening to everyone. Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. My question,
Good
Sharmada.
evening, sir.
See, right now our children play tennis, and then they're also doing their academics side by side. In your younger days, I mean, you mentioned about going to school, and then everything was so rushed because it was not closer to your home. Okay, but my question is not anything to do with that. My question is, I know you went to a school where you used to climb trees. So how important is school life for children away from the tennis life? That's my question.
Yeah. I regret telling you this now, but he's absolutely right. My school on the days that I went was extremely fun. I had a blast in school and I wanted to keep going back there. It was a really small school and the teachers were extremely nice and friendly. And if we used to just run outside the classroom and just climb trees and play Marakoti and all of those games that you guys don't play anymore these days. And the teachers used to come and, they used to sit under the tree and they used to teach us under the tree. And we enjoyed learning that way as well. So I think that you need to have some sort of, a social life even apart from tennis. And at this age that you guys are in, it's school. It's obviously school. So you need to build more connections there. You need to learn the skills that you can learn only in school, just like how there are certain skills that you can learn only while playing tennis or any other sport. The same thing goes to school, and it's it's a balance of both. That's what makes you a whole person. So I think that and you guys are so lucky that you're so many of y'all and you're all together, right? So I would say that just make the most of it, because you need to kind of take a break mentally as well from being on court and do something else, like be it study, be it hang out with your friends, or like have a fun online session or whatever it may be, just to like distract your mind from tennis and focus on something else, and then come back refreshed on court. Because every time if you just keep thinking tennis, you're going to burn out for sure, because your mind can only handle so much of the same thing at once. So it's extremely important to keep your day balanced, is what I feel. And yeah, like sir mentioned, back then for me, it was going to school, playing with my friends and climbing trees.
Thank you.
Okay, the player who's asking the question can go for it now.
Hi, ma'am, Sangeeta.
Hi, Sangeeta.
So, ma'am, what's your thought process during the match when you're in a lead and when you're down?
So when I'm down, I actually find it's more natural to me to find a way out, because it almost feels like I'm subconsciously doing it on my own. I don't have to think. I feel I'm an extremely competitive person in general, and I'm always fired up, and I hate losing just like everyone else. I really do not like to lose. So I try to find ways to win the best that I can. Like I try to do everything that I can find some way or another and basically give my 100%, if not more, on court in terms of playing and also in terms of thinking. Because you can't just play and win, right? Like you can't just hit balls and win. You need to find a way, like how are you going to win? What is it that you need to do different than you're doing right now, which is making you lose? What is another strategy that you need, or what is that thing that you need to do different to win? Is the main thought in my head when I'm losing. And just basically don't show that. It's not about don't show. I feel like, especially me, I'm someone who is not done being on court until I shake my hand with the opponent. Until we do the handshake, the match is not over. So up until then, I'm always finding a way to turn the match around, to win, or like even just, maybe change the rhythm of the game a little bit, because you never know what can happen. There's so many times where I've pulled matches from under their feet just by doing nothing, but just by staying there and showing them that the only way you're going to beat me is if you play well. I'm not giving you the match. So if you want to beat me, you have to play better than me. So just by showing confidence, or just by, even if you're not confident, all you have to do is pretend most of the time. All of us do it. And I think that that's something that really helps me, because imagine if you're feeling nervous or something like that during a 30-all point or a 40-all point or something like that. You'll be nervous and your hands will be shaking sometimes, so you don't know what to do. And in that moment, I just tell myself, like, hey, you're feeling this way, but remember, the opponent is also feeling that way. They're also human beings, right? So they also have similar, if not more, emotions than us. So the moment I just, shift it, and I'm like, okay, you're feeling this way, but so is the other person. And whoever handles it or deals with it better is going to win this point. So that I feel like that's how I handle when I'm down. And basically just not giving up, just find a way. There's always a way. And if not, then you just did your best. And I think that's my approach to when I'm down. And when I'm up, this is something that I'm still working on, which I have difficulty in closing out matches. But all you can do is just sometimes maybe trick your mind. Like say the score is, you're up 4-1 or something like that. And if you don't like being in the lead sometimes, or you play better if you're down, I just tell myself that, okay, the score is 3-2, you're down 3-2, and you need to find a way to get back this game. So I shift the entire focus from me being up to me still having to do what I need to do. So it's not so much focusing that I'm leading, but more so much on what I need to do. And you just have to maintain whatever you did to get to that lead. You need to maintain the same thing to close out that set or the match. So I would say that's how I would look at it.
Thank you, ma'am.
On. Hi, ma'am, Soumya.
Hi, Soumya, go ahead.
Ma'am, a day before match day. So when you feel nervous, like thinking, how will you do in your match? Will you do good or not? How do you deal with it? Like, how do you keep up the confidence that you're going to do well?
So see, you don't really know how you're going to play until you hit that first ball. There's so many days where, I'm extremely nervous before a match, like for a long period of time before a match. Say for like 1-2 hours, I have like flies in my tummy and I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, okay, this is the plan, but like I'm feeling a little anxious. But the moment I step on court, everything just goes away. Sometimes that's just what happens. And sometimes you'll be completely fine. Like you'll be confident and you're like, okay, I got this. I know what I need to do. I have a plan. Today's going to be a good day on court. You're going to go with that mentality. But the moment you step on court, you cannot make 2 balls in. So you don't know which way it's going to go. So I would say that it's extremely normal and natural to be nervous and to have butterflies in your stomach and be a little anxious before the match. It happens to every single person. Just know, like I said, the same thing. When it gets a little overwhelming, just know that the other person also could be going through the same thing. So you don't put yourself at a disadvantage, but just think that these things can change. It's not permanent. You might be nervous now, but say in 2 points, you're not going to be as nervous anymore. And the more balls you put in, so when I'm extremely nervous and I go on court, the first thing I do is I don't try to hit too big. I just try to play more balls in, put more balls in. Even if the other person is hitting winners, so to say, let them hit it. I just want to get back into my groove and feel good, and then I slowly start building on my points or my game. And yeah, and sometimes if it gets too much, say before a match, I just put on like a small 3 to 5 minute meditation track and just like breathe slowly. I feel like breathing really helps a lot, even during the points. Sometimes say it's like 5 all, 30 all, and you're extremely anxious and you're serving and you don't know how to deal with it. So just take some time. You have those 20 seconds between points. Just go back, use your towels, just say a few words or things, sentences that triggers the right energy, the right mindset in you, and just breathe slowly in and out. Slow down your breath, become a little calmer, and you start seeing things a lot more clearly.
Sharmada, I think we have a question in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just reading that now. And you're serving 5-4 due to serving session. Okay, so this is a question by Ash and Om. I'm just going to read it out for the others. Let's say you're in a doubles match and the situation is 5-4 deuce and you're serving. So if you're in that situation, then would you go for a big serve like an ace, or like just play out the point and make the serve in? I would say that this question is, it depends on the match, who you're playing against, which side of the court you're playing against, I mean, who's returning, how you're playing on that particular day, how you're feeling, and how your serves are feeling. This is a very specific question. It cannot be generic. So say that I'm exactly in this situation today, and I'm serving really big, and I'm feeling good. I've hit a couple of aces already, and I'm feeling confident within myself. So if this is how I'm feeling on that particular day, I would for sure go for my first serve, because I know that I'm going to make it in. If you have that belief, and if you have some sort of proof that, hey, the serves are going in, then it's completely fine to go ahead with it. I think sometimes you do have to go big. But if you're struggling with your serves, and there are many days that, even though I serve big, my serve percentage is really bad. The first serves are not falling in, and I'm really struggling, and they're stepping on my second serve. And, if it's that kind of a situation and it's 5-4 deuce, then I would just, slow down the serve a little bit, add more spin and safety, and put the first serve in. Because most of the time, people don't like returning first serve.
Okay, so do any of the... Sorry, go ahead, Sharmada.
No, there's another question that's come from Jeevashri. Should I read that out?
Yeah. Please take it.
You started to play and then stopped for a while and started again. How did you get your game back, and were you confident when you started again? Yeah, so I think earlier I was mentioning when I decided to play, right? I would say that the game, when you played for so long, for so many years, I've played this sport for almost 21 years now. You're not going to forget how to hit a forehand, backhand, or a serve. It's just something that's not going to go away. You're going to remember it forever. So I don't think I was worried there. It was more so on the physical aspects of it. Like, can my body last? Can I physically last 2 hours on court? Can I move? Can I reach the balls? Am I going to be in position to hit the ball? Can I load? And can I, even if I do one session, can I do another session the next day? It was more in terms of physical attributes that I was focused on, because game-wise, I knew that I was there. Even the first day when I came to RBTA to try it out even when I was still working. The first session I played after 4 years almost. It didn't feel like I had not played for 4 years. It just felt like I played a tournament and I just took a break for 1 week to rest and I'm back to playing again. That's how it felt in terms of the feel and the racket. But physically, I was dying. I was struggling quite a bit. So I think that is what I was focused on. And in terms of confidence, like I said, the day that I decided to come back, and I was telling you about the belief, right? Where like when everyone else tells you that you're good, but you yourself don't believe it, it's worthless. It's not going to do you good. You're just running on other people's belief. But that day when I decided that I'm going to play, I think I'm really good and I need to give it a shot. I didn't hear anyone else around me telling me that. It was just me. I think it was the first time that I figured it out. I believed in myself, and I think my confidence was there from that day up until now. Welcome.
I'll quickly add what Sharmada said. We're talking about comeback, but also for you children when you have a break from the game due to injury or illness or whatever reason. The most important thing is you have to remember, you don't unlearn what you learned. It is going to be there with you. But the important thing is you have to understand you're not going to start where you left off. So you have not played the sport, you have not trained for a period of time. So that will have an effect. But it doesn't mean your skill is lost or you've become a bad player overnight. It's just that you need to come back, put in the work, accept that you're not where you left off. You will obviously be a few steps below or a few notches below. So if you can accept that and understand that, it's a lot easier. A lot of times the comeback becomes a struggle because people expect to come back and hit where they left off. So it's not like that. You don't jump off from the 10th step and then when you rejoin, you start in the 10th step. It can be 2, it can be 3, maybe 4. So you have to start climbing from 4 to 10. So that's the clarity you need to have. And if you have that, it's a lot easier. And it's easier said than done. I mean, I'm sure Sharmada can understand what I'm saying because it's very difficult for you to accept that I was playing at that level and now I'm not playing at that level. But that's where it is. So if you guys, when you have a reason to take a break from tennis due to injuries, exams, whatever, remember this. So that's one of the important points to remember in your from the mental aspect. The physical aspect, yes, if you have not trained, you lose it. But mentally, you have to accept where you're going to be and where you want to work towards. But your skill and your ability are always with you.
Thank you, sir. I think you have one more question in the chat, Sharmada.
Oh yeah, I'm reading. What are your preparations before your match? Okay, so I think this differs from individual to individual, but mine specifically is, say that I have a match at 9, first match I play tomorrow at 9. I go to bed early. I get the amount of sleep that I need to. I need 8 hours of sleep minimum before match day. So I do that and I wake up early. I like my time before the match. I don't like to be hurried. So say my match is at 9, I have a warm up, my half an hour warm up from 8 to 8:30. I go half an hour before my half an hour warm up to do my rehab and warm up my body for the practice. So 7:30 I'm on court. Around 6:30 I'm between 6 to 6:15 I'm awake. And I do my morning routine. I eat my breakfast. I take my time. I listen to some music and I start off the day on a good note. And after my practice, I play anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. And then I like to be alone after that. I don't like to be around people. So I have a playlist. I listen to my music and I just sit for like a good 10 minutes minimum. And I just think about what I want to do on court, focus on my breathing, how I'm feeling. Am I anxious? Am I ready for this? Just be intuitive and listen to what your body is telling you and your mind is telling you. And I just go through my my match, so to say, not on a point-to-point basis, but just on a few tactics or strategies that I have. And say in yesterday's practice, my forehand inside out was going really good, and my backhand down the line was going really good. So I know that these two are something that is working for me. For example, when I was playing nationals, my serve was really bad. The whole week, my serve was really bad. My percentage was not good at all, and I played the whole week just by putting my first serve in. Like when you asked me that 5-4 deuce point, so that whole week, all I could rely on is just putting the serve in and continuing the match. So like, you build tactics around that. So I visualize and I think of what are my strengths for that day. What are certain things that are, kind of challenging that I'm struggling with, how to avoid that. These are all tactics you make the previous day, but you just kind of like mentally just flip through it for a good minute or two just to remind you. And yeah, I like to be alone, and I like to, just get into my zone and start my warm up. And the moment I hit the court, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to win that match. So that's how I go. What do you like in yourself and what do you dislike in yourself? Okay. I think that what I like is that I do not give up. I may rest for a while, but I will come back. I think that that's a quality that's always been in me, and no matter what the situation is, I try to find a way out and try to come through to the other side, be it in tennis or otherwise as well. I think that's something that I really admire about myself. And what I dislike is that I think I'm some sort of a perfectionist. I want everything to happen 100%. Like even if it's like 95%, I'm not okay with it. I'm too hard on myself and too hard in terms of things happening exactly as how it should. And that's never going to happen. Life is not like that. It will never happen how you think it needs to happen or how you want it to happen. So I think that's something that I really had to work on and understand that, things are always changing. Things are never going to go how you want it to go. And you just need to allow yourself to make mistakes, which is something I don't do enough because we're all going to make mistakes on court, off court. We're not always going to do the right thing. And I get really upset when I make a mistake and I'm like, why did you do this? And I'm really hard on myself. And that's one quality I don't like. And I'm trying to change that and just accept that, things are going to be different and are not going to go as how you want it to go, but you need to adapt to it. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for asking so many questions. Really wonderful of all the players to ask Sharmada about her experience. Thank you so much. I would like to know if the teachers had any questions for Sharmada. Please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you. Okay, I don't think the teachers have any questions this time. Probably next time they will. I will hand over the mic to Japriya ma'am. You can take it from here, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Truly inspiring, ma'am. I've just been sitting, listening to you, not even moving anywhere. And it's so inspiring to see your comeback, your struggles, and, it's a good moment, a good time for our students to understand. And I did feel that they have realized, because all the questions that have come up are just about losses. If you see the number of questions that students have asked is all about how do you feel when you lose? What is your this there? So children have realized that, yes, in this match of tennis, there are losses, but then, yes, they have to make up their minds to face it. And that you have clearly explained in your, the way you've come back and the way you've taken up those struggles, sustaining that position. I think hats off to you. And
thank you.
The key words that you have that I would like to, say here is, children, hurdles will be there, but what you need to realize is It's passion and focus. If you go with the focus and if you're determined to achieve, you will achieve. And this session has truly explained to us that passion and focus will help us to achieve what we want to. In spite of so many hurdles, so many struggles coming the way, it's not easy. And Balu sir has truly been our pillar of support here, helping us, trying to inspire our kids. Thank you, sir. And you are always our motivation. And I wish I had my young days there and I could play tennis. I never knew about this sport. But you know what? I have planned that at least next few years, I will learn to play tennis and play there in that court there. So that's my goal. At least in the next 5 years to come in. So I will also be
certainly, ma'am. We'll plan. We'll organize a program for teachers.
Sure, sir. So I will be there. Truly, truly inspiring.
And I mean, since you mentioned that as a kid you missed out, I mean, I've known Sharmada since a kid.
So yes, sir. So I will also be a kid there playing the sport and taking it ahead. Next 5 years, that's my goal next.
You can do it soon.
Truly. And so what I would tell you children across here is we are all there at the sports school to help you out. And as Sharmada clearly said, the school life is the best part of your life. And so take each and every learning experience that you get there, diversify your learning, and you will surely, come out to be self-confident individuals, which is very, very important. Nourish these days. Onus lies on to you. You have to make the best use. We are all there to help you out, but the best use, you have to take this opportunity and move ahead, learning from all that you are all being put into. So make use of the best opportunities. Sir, one line you would like to, give these students or tell these students?
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am just spoke about the school life being enjoyable. Don't worry, the trees will be replanted soon in DSS. So children, have fun and enjoy.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, sir.
So thank you, Sharmada, for your, wonderful experience that you've shared across. I was literally glued onto my chair listening to each and every word that you have shared in today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here to share
a
bit of my story.
It's our pleasure.
And yeah, thank you all. Thank you guys for joining and listening. And yeah, if you have any questions later on as well, you'll always see me at the court. Feel free to come and ask. Don't be shy. And yeah, just keep at it and you'll get to wherever you need to.
So on to Pooja ma'am, please, if you could conclude. I think a special thanks to RBTA, the entire team of Balu sir and RBTA for, carving this path for our budding tennis athletes. And the sports school is the right platform for each one of you. So take it ahead. Pooja ma'am, please go ahead with the vote.
Yes, ma'am. So firstly, thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank ma'am for the amazing session and the great learnings that our students here at the sports school had through your journey. And sincere thanks to the entire team of RBTA for their guidance, and thanks to the entire team of TSS for their inspiring and motivating the young athletes here. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.